Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Hello there, welcome this morning to Morning Dew. And we are on from Dott television. This morning we're going to, as usual, walk you through, what makes the news, what is trending around Nigeria and the globe entirely. Of course, my name is Henry Uzo, and I'm in the studio ever with my blessed ladies, Queen Success Benjamin and Dr. Ify Arono. We'll talk about this Queen and Dr. later.
Oh, today is so amazing.
Yeah.
Welcome to another fruitful day on Morning Dew this morning, where we bring you topical stories and headlines happening around the globe. I am Success Benjamin, and Ify is in the studio. How are you doing today?
I am very well, and it's so good to be with you this morning from our studio in Asaba, the capital of Delta State, Nigeria, the big heart.
The first capital of Nigeria.
The first,
Absolutely.
yes.
And Delta is the big heart.
Mhm.
Dot TV is the heart of the matter.
Oh,
Analyze.
yeah. Oh, yes, he has. Now, I just introduced you differently today.
Exactly. And I'm
People
wondering.
don't know how I'm blessed to have you people. You are Queen Success. Explain to them, what queen are you? Pageant queen or princely queen?
Okay, actually a pageant queen, and also, should I say a community queen as well?
That's so.
Yes,
All
so
right,
it's
Dr. Aron,
amazing.
are you a medical doctor or doctor of philosophy?
I am a doctor of communication.
Oh, yeah, now.
Yes, so that is why I'm here, because we need academics, people who understand the science and art of communication to be part of active broadcasting.
I like this.
So we're very delighted to be here with you. Together, we're going to do this yet again. So be part of it. And remember to drop us comments as we go along. I want to read from you, react to the topical stories that we'll be raising as we go on Morning Dew today. We are here for you. Trust us.
So you see how blessed I am having these wonderful ladies with me in the studio. Don't be jealous of me. Just stand by and watch how we roll
They have
today.
us too. They have us too. We belong to you, right? Yeah, so interact with us in the
But they are
comments
not with you in the
as we
studio
go
here
along.
now.
Aw.
I'm privileged.
Yes.
Yes, stand by. We are with you. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Yes, welcome back. And of course, so we're continuing with news updates, and Success has the stories.
Welcome to news update on Morning Dew. The federal government has suspended its proposed increase in examination fees for the 2027 WAEC, NECO, and SSC examinations following widespread public concerns and to allow for broader consultations with stakeholders. The Ministry of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, announced on Monday that the ministry had withdrawn its June 18, 2026 proposal pending a comprehensive review of the policy. According to the ministry, the planned fee adjustment was prompted by rising economic pressures and the increasing cost of conducting credible national examinations, I beg your pardon. Dr. Alausa said the decision reflects the federal government's commitment to inclusive, transparent, and evidence-based policy making, ensuring that policies affecting millions of students and families undergo extensive consultation before implementation. The ministry reaffirmed its commitment to students' welfare, equitable access to quality education, and responsible policy making under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. It also thanked parents, students, and other stakeholders for their patience and support, assuring them that the public would be kept informed throughout the consultation process. Now, a one-year remembrance has been organized for the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The federal government on Monday organized a first-year remembrance in honor of former President Muhammadu Buhari, marking 1 year since his passing. Family members, state governors, traditional and religious leaders, as well as political associates gathered in Abuja to pay tribute to the late Nigerian leader. Among the dignitaries in attendance were former First Lady Aisha Buhari and former Head of State General Yakubu Gowon, retired, who joined other mourners in celebrating Buhari's life and legacy. The remembrance ceremony brought together prominent figures from across the country, reflecting the late former president's enduring influence on Nigeria's political landscape and the respect he commanded among colleagues, supporters, and the wider public. Now, on entertainment, Nigerian Afrobeat star David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, has revealed that his biggest fear is not leaving music, but knowing the right time to step away from it. Speaking in a viral video on Monday, the award-winning singer said he constantly prays for God's guidance on when to end his music career. Davido added that it is difficult to watch once famous celebrities struggle after leaving the spotlight, saying he hopes to make the right decision at the right time. Now on sports, Dutch football referee Rob Dijkpink has died at the age of 38. The Royal Netherlands Football Association, KNVB, confirmed a sudden passing, though the cause of the death has not been publicly disclosed. Dijkpink, who had been an erudite referee since 2017 and a video assistant referee VAR at Euro 2024, was recently removed from his 2026 FIFA World Cup duties. His World Cup withdrawal followed an April arrest in London by the Metropolitan Police over an alleged sexual assault involving a teenager. However, London authorities dropped all charges and closed the case due to a lack of evidence, and he was never formally charged with any offense. The KNVB released a statement mourning him as a kind and dedicated colleague and expressed profound shock at the tragic loss. Now on foreign news, US launches third night of strike on Iran. Tensions escalate. The United States military carried out a third consecutive night of strikes on Iran on Monday after President Donald Trump ordered renewed military actions. Earlier, Trump said Iran would be hit very hard and later confirmed that US forces were targeting Iranian capabilities around the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, the United Arab Emirates Ministry of Defense said two Emirati oil tankers, Mombasa and the Al Bahia, were struck by Iranian cruise missiles while sailing through Omani territorial waters in the southern lane of the Strait of Hormuz. One crew member was wounded while 8 others sustained injuries. The latest developments mark a further escalation in tensions across the Gulf region. And that's it with news updates on Morning Dew. Plenty more to come when we return. Stay with us.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Yes, welcome back. And of course, we are looking at what we have in the papers today. We have some of the papers already available to us. and we'll look at what we have in them. All right, can somebody take the first one, please?
Now let's take from Business Day. On Business Day, we have the FG's fragile naira for crude deal forces Dangote to sell fuel in dollars. And also, why WAEC NECO fees hike should never have left drawing board. How motorcycles AI became twin engines of insurgency. And that's it for Business Day.
Over now to Daily Trust, and these are the topical stories. Below the masthead, we have these ones. Buhari treated everyone equally. That's coming from former head of state Gowon. Why abducted Oyo teachers were killed. That's from the rescued principal. Federal government suspends WAEC NECO fee hike. That's trending across national dailies today. And the topical story we have on Daily Trust this morning is ADC heads to Supreme Court over Congresses. ICPC won't indict. Bajabiamila says Phantom Council DG Adeyemi. Dangote dollar sales feel hike fears. These are the topical stories on Daily Trust.
Moving on to the Tribune, this morning, Nigerian Tribune, the topical headline there says, Makinde calls on UN others to probe Orire adoption. And also we have appeal courts restrains INEC from recognizing Mark-led ADC Congress. And also Senate reps set for harmonization of state police bill. FG suspends proposed WAEC NECO fees hike. Senate investigates 34 trillion naira in pork waivers by FG. And that's all for the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, straight to the Daily Times. We have Atiku state capture allegations baseless. Stop dragging Amupita into ADC crisis, INEC says. FIFA announces first ever World Cup final halftime show with Beba and Shakira, BTS. Import duty waiver responsible for 34 trillion shortfall in customs revenue. That's Controller General of the Customs speaking. We thought we had been forgotten. Principal recounts 56 days in captivity, talking about the Orire abduction. I think that's all we have in the Daily Times.
Now, bringing us to the Nation, principals, kidnappers beats up pupils, change teachers. That's a topical headline there. Then we'll have Shetima saying here, I wept at Buhari's bedside in his last moments. Disco kick against NERC's CapEx account order. Court rejects Sowore request for long adjournment. OPEC predicts positive economic outlook for Nigerians. And that's it on the Nations this morning.
And as we move to the Punch, we haven't seen the end of the Oyo abduction because of this topical story that we have here. Presidency slams Makinde over demand for UN probe. We have these writers, Makinde playing bizarre politics, weaponizing anything against federal government. That's coming from the presidency. This is in politics. Oyo abduction too grave for local probe alone. And that's a rebuttal from Oyo Governor Makinde. Bandits killed 2 teachers in captivity. Principal reveals federal government hands over victims to governor. Beside the bannerhead of the newspaper, Dangote dumps Naira, begins petrol sales in dollars. Above the masthead, Atiku ADC defend primaries as court voids Mark-led Congresses. Federal government granted 34 trillion naira import duty waivers in 2025, coming from the customs. Veterans meet CDS demand 250,000 naira minimum pay for soldiers. These are the topical ones on the Punch. The punches of the Punch.
That's it. Moving on to this day, the front page says, appeal court reaffirms ruling Bahrain barring INEC from recognizing mark-led agency. This is repeated again here as a topical headline. So, terrorists kill Michael Dickin to force government to a deal, Orire principal says. And now we have Makinde receives Orire pupils from the Nigerian army. And that's it for this day.
Now over to the Vanguard. We have children were beaten, teachers chained. Alamu, principal. That is the principal of the Orire school. And of course, Atiku Obi excited as FG suspends planned increase in WAEC NECO registration fees. Then, of course, Discos push back against NERC's fresh order on revenue utilization. Then, of course, we have Appeal Court affirms order barring INEC from recognizing Mark's leadership. Well, that's all the papers we are looking at this morning. When we come back, we'll look at the issues raised in the headlines. Stay with us. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
We impose extra burden on the masses. I feel your pain.
Only humility will lead us to unity, and unity will lead us to peace.
Go to the market and sell your products.
Entertainment, your weekly dose of pure fun. Airing every Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Only on Dott TV.
From Harrison. That is a massive world record. Martinelli goes, boys, out of his goal. Martinelli. This will be 3 for
Of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us on Morning Dew. We are continuing with the papers, and of course, we are going straight to review of some of the stories that made the headlines and has affect the people. Godfrey Obaka is already in the studio. How are you today?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
A bright Tuesday morning.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And of course, you come to stay with me and my ladies.
For a while.
I think it's always a good time.
For a while.
All right, let's start from the human angle as it affects the people. One of the things that, dominated the headlines is the fact that the federal government has withdrawn, or do we use the word suspended, the increase in the fee payable by candidates for WAEC and NECO. So what do we call it now? Is it that they withdrew or they suspended?
A positive development that goes to confirm what a Sage once said, that the worst form of democracy, that is democracy at its lowest ebb, is still far, far more better, to be better appreciated than the best form of benevolent military regime. The military will come, will decrease, and they cannot go. They don't go back to it.
Okay.
But just see how the federal government tried to save its face, and of course, laid the blame on the Ministry of Education that they did not quite consult. And of course, that is face-saving enough, because Nigeria, you must give kudos to the press. They aggregated the views, the opinions of Nigerians.
Yeah.
And about this time yesterday, it was virtually on all the media platforms. And the federal government moved swiftly. Don't forget.
Even on the platform, we said they
Yes,
have to do
we did. I still remember.
They're shutting out people from education.
Exactly. So that is why we all need to do everything possible to sustain our democracy. because it has to be said that thus far, democracy remains the best form of government that humans have had to forge out because of the major principles, freedom of speech, somebody had to speak out, the rule of law, you understand. And we see a government that is conscious of the fact that in the next couple of months is coming back to the people
to
for a renewal
votes.
of mandate.
Yes.
And as such, if this policy has been said to be this unpopular, what can we do to leverage on it to see if we can be popular with the people? That is democracy playing out. And it did play out well. And you can see that even the opposition, because it's good, when a government does well, you applaud them. For them to be this responsive and listening to the yearnings of the people, we also will want to, like Oliver Twist asked, that in fact it should be further brought down. Because even the 27 naira 500 is not every family can afford it. And we see that it has limited a whole number of people. Education remains the bedrock. If you invest in it tomorrow, today you secure tomorrow. And it was Obama, I think, that once said that any nation that can out-budget you in education will ultimately outpace you in development. That is to say, there is a nexus between education and development.
Now, talking about how that the federal government responded to the clarion call of, in fact, it was an outburst.
It's a case of Vox Populis, Vox
everyone was talking about it.
Yes.
It was on every lip yesterday.
It was a
you linked the fact that the government backed down to 2027 election. Do you think that after the election we might come back to?
No.
That's why I asked the question. Is it withdrawal or suspension?
I linked it more to democracy.
Okay.
I said this is democracy playing out because they know they have a date with the people.
But our question
Our
question is still very salient.
After the date with
our
the
question
people.
is still
Yes, our question is pertinent because of how democracy is practiced in this climate.
Okay.
Where we have seen governments that when close to the people start constructing certain roads. There is a particular state in this country that countdown build up to the last election they had. Roads were being constructed, expanded, houses were given way and all that. But since after that election, which marked the renewal of mandate, another 4 years for the governor, I have also had reason to visit that state. And I have seen that in those roads, the sites, you see one, two workers who are just like carpenters, and nothing is happening again. The tempo is down. So we should be sensitive enough as a people to realize when people just went to us, with onions, with salt, with tomato and infrastructure and the stomach infrastructure, just because they want our mandate. And 4 years after, we may never hear from them. That is not the kind of democracy that we need to encourage. The federal government has done well by backing down on this policy.
But
we look forward to...
Is it not possible in this
action
climate, with the level of money we generate, for instance, to say, let us subsidize? We're talking about the issue of subsidy yesterday.
Exactly.
Is it not possible for government to say, for our children to transit, at least primary and secondary education, let us pay their external exam fees? It's not possible.
It is very possible.
Make it free.
Yeah,
it is very possible. But do not also forget that education is in the concurrent list of the Constitution. So it's not only the federal government. Federal government has its role.
Yes.
The state has its role.
No, it doesn't matter.
Even the local government has its role.
One of them should take up the responsibility.
Exactly. So
because if they partner across board.
Yes. So what we should be talking, what we should be sending out as a message is that government at all levels, including well-placed individuals, corporate establishments should see it as their corporate social responsibility. To see to it that no Nigerian child is left on the street. That there shouldn't be, like a particular newspaper, I think it was Daily Trust yesterday, said that there was heightened fear of increased number of dropouts.
Yeah, but that
And
would be
you
the
know
first-
what
that
that
would be the
means,
first direct
what that
outcome.
means
Yeah.
to our development, what that means to our struggle against insurgency and all that, because they become ready recruits, recruits for insurgents. Nigerian state has failed you, but see what we are presenting to you, and that's not good enough. So Nigeria should be, I mean, the governments of the day at all levels should take education with a level of priority.
And
We have
talking
seen it
about-
done before,
yes.
and it can still be done.
It is being done. Talking about states that cover external exam fees for students, talking of NACO, WAEC, and NAPTEB, we have states like Taraba State, Bauchi State, Cross River State, Kano and Kebbi State, and some others like Castilla.
Somebody can even posit that they have fewer candidates in those areas. That's why
They want to encourage education, but that doesn't mean that other states, you see, it's mostly northern states that are doing that. But
They are
states
called
in other-
the
educationally
educationally
disadvantaged
disadvantaged
states
as a way of encouraging them. But it should be a state
Across board.
policy across board. That's primary and secondary education.
And external exams are
Subsidized
covered.
even for their external exams.
All right, that does it. And talking about us again, the people. We are the people.
We the people.
We are the people. Now, Dangote is resorting to selling petrol in dollars. To who? To me? To you? Who buys in dollars?
Yeah, to Nigerians to recoup the investment he made, which was denominated in dollars.
Okay.
Don't forget that Dangote came on a rescue mission.
Okay.
Henry, don't forget that Dangote is not the only Nigerian that has refineries.
But that has money.
He's not the only Nigerian that has that invested in refineries. But he was patriotic enough to locate his in Nigeria.
Okay.
Other Nigerians have.
I get your point.
Other Nigerians have.
But
they located them abroad.
Yeah.
And they are importing to us. Dangote chose to invest here in Nigeria, create job. He risked the environment. Where many other people felt that the environment was not conducive enough for that, he risked it. And today, he was supposed to be one of the players, and not the only player. You want to, before you ask for the head of Dangote, ask where is the refinery in Eleme? Where is the Port Harcourt refinery? What is happening to the Kaduna? What is happening to the Warri refinery? These are refineries that have failed us. These are refineries that our government have put in billions, trillions of naira on TAM, they call them, turnaround maintenance, and never turn them around. So if a private businessman comes into a sector that is denominated in dollar, the issue of selling in naira was as a result of an agreement he had with the federal government. Naira sales, yes, Naira sales deal. But he is getting the Nigerian setting is not giving him enough crude. And if it doesn't make business sense for him to get crude, source crude internationally in dollar and sell to you in naira. So I know many people will say, oh, he's a monopolist. Many people will say he did it in the cement industry, he did it in salt, he has come over in sugar, he has come over. But do not forget that at a time that many Nigerians never believed in Nigeria, he staked it all and invested millions of dollars in our climb. And of course, billions really. And he is now branching out to some other African countries are saying, what you did in Nigeria, can you come to Macedonia and save us? And help us. You understand? But they also have had somebody talk about gestation period and the need for him to recoup. You know, the essence of going into investment is for you to recoup your investment. You understand? I know that it doesn't portend well for you and I. Because when that's my concern. Yeah, it's a genuine concern. It's a genuine concern. But it is not good that at this point in time, whenever we talk about refinery, assuming there was no Dangote refinery at all, where could we have been in terms of product stability? You see a situation where one thing you need to factor in is that for some time now we no longer talk about supply instability of people cleaning up. There have been a time in this country where people had to sleep. Their wives are at home. They are sleeping in the queue in the car to see if the next day they can get fuel supply. So let's look beyond Dangote and see how we can sort out our own system and structures, especially as it has to do with other refineries. Does it not bother you? You are from Niger Delta. Does it not bother you that there is military kept in the creeks destroying what they call illegal refineries? That was the same way they called our gin, ogogoro, as illicit gin. Because they needed the one that the colonial was brought. What is illegit about gin? Gin is gin. They all intoxicate people.
Not in the law.
Yes. Today, people know that it is the authentic one. And they use it for many things, including pharmaceutical and all that. So has it not come to a time that we see how those modular refineries can be brought together? There are people in our creeks who know how to refine these things. But instead of encouraging them, bringing them together, we send military to go and
destroy their
because we link it with bunkering and loss of product and all that. But there are better ways to harmonize the system.
Now let's come this way,
so that we stop hammering on just Dangote.
I see how much you have been a public relations officer for Dangote this morning, but then notwithstanding,
I beg to disagree with you. I stand on the truth and the facts. I stand on the truth and the facts, and nothing but the truth.
The truth is
we need a tree cannot make a forest.
That's right.
Let's look beyond Dangote.
That's where we're going now. Now, people have also said that the fact that the refineries could not work was deliberate by officials so that they can make money when the government imports. And then after a while, they say, no, this thing is costing us, let us turn around. So it's a game played by big people. Could Dangote not be one of them playing this game to ensure that our refineries don't work?
I don't think that he was ever part of those importing.
You don't have to be part.
No, he was never part of those importing.
Okay.
You know, he got convinced. He saw tomorrow. He saw the prospects in the industry.
Okay.
And came in to invest. If anything, the people you are referring to are the ones trying to frustrate him.
Yeah.
Because they want the situation to remain. Let us continue to import and import and import. You know, do you know that before he had offered to buy over Port Harcourt refinery?
They will turn him down.
They frustrated him.
Yes, man.
He wanted to buy it over, turn it around. They frustrated his efforts. He now went over to establish his own and say, if you do not want me to buy it over, let me establish my own. And it's becoming a success story.
Yeah.
Other countries in Africa are asking him, come over and replicate the Nigerian model. So if anything, we should see how we can create an environment that can encourage him so that other private sector key players will also see what Dangote saw. Because at the end of the day, you know, government creates environment, right environment. It is for individuals to take the investment initiative like Dangote has done. We look forward to more Dangotes so that our economy can be brought back to work. But government of the day should create the enabling environment for investment to cry.
All right, we'll wait to see how that affects us, because what is our concern is what we're buying fuel. What's the price at the pump, at the fuel station? Well, we'll take a break at this point. When we come back, we'll continue with other issues. Stay with us. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
welcome back. And of course, I saw one of the quotes there. He said, you become what you think. So as you are watching us, what are you thinking? That's what you become. That's how I welcome you back. And of course, we continue with paper review.
All right.
Now, Makinde is asking the UN to probe the presidency. On what? For what? And of course, does UN...
He's not asking
He's
them
not
to
asking
probe the
for-
presidency.
Yes,
He's saying that an internal review of what transpired, the abduction in Oyo,
Yes.
is not enough.
Okay.
That the United Nations should come in so that there will be external observation and
That's-
analysis.
that's-
So
okay.
it's not the federal government,
It's
but
all right. So
the situation is
let
situation
our
as
resource
it
person
were.
talk to us.
Oh, well, it's expected. Makinde's position is not just about Makinde.
Internal
There
position.
are a number of people who also
Who are
believe
Makinde?
that, you know, he believes that don't forget that he's the chief security officer
Okay.
in that state, and is privy to the level of information that you do not have. He says there is more that meets the eye in the whole what transpired.
Yeah.
And that the fact that lives got lost in the process. The occasion where he spoke was very auspicious.
Okay.
The military had to bring those who were abducted and rescued. So he now welcomed them, and not the government of Oyo State. He said he has taken personal responsibility to see to their continuation of their education and their welfare.
Okay.
So that was a personal thing on the audience. But as a commitment.
Not as government.
Not as government. But that as the chief security officer, that he is not doubting the federal government and the feat so exhibited, but that the world needs to know what exactly happened. And so he is inviting UN agencies and the international body for their independence to come and look at it critically. That it is untoward, it is uncommon, the circumstances, the word that is coming to me, I am hesitating to use it.
Please don't.
Yes. You know, that there is a whole lot of drama around it.
Yeah.
That even himself as the chief security officer didn't quite understand. And we shouldn't play drama with the lives of people and all that. So I subscribe to the fact that he has the level of information.
Okay.
He was at the center of it all. And the speed with which the federal government also responded to him, that they are not disagreeing with him, but that he ought to recognize the feat of the military and also have trust in the narrative the federal government is giving to us. We don't want to think that we have a government that will stage that kind of a thing and have people kept wherever for 50-something, about 56 days and all that. And in the process, because the other narratives are gruesome. The principal that is alive said that the abductors had to slay some of them to see if the federal government will respond. You understand? And these are not fictions.
If
they were slain.
If we're going to pin what you're saying, because you are not coming from the angle of Makinde, are you saying that Makinde is saying that federal government did not respond quickly, swiftly to the situation, or there were other undertones?
He is saying that there are details about the whole thing that played out that the world needs to know.
Is it in the abduction or in the delay?
The abduction scenario. The abduction scenario and the virtual rescue. That as the chief security officer of that state, that there are a number of things that are untoward, that there are a number of things that appear staged.
Okay.
Wonderful.
One would have thought that the explanation we got earlier, that the bandit, I think there was a DSS operative who spoke on one of these media houses, talking about what may have happened, that they were demanding the release of some of their leaders. incarcerated by the government. But the issue that the governor of Oyo State is pointing towards is why Oyo State?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If what they wanted was the release of all the states in Nigeria, why must it be Oyo?
Yeah.
And that is why this
And those people were
he's
not
coming
captured in
from-
Oyo? Their leaders
he's
were not captured in Oyo?
Yes, so why must the bandits now come to Oyo to
abduct.
force the hand of the federal government to
Those
abduct,
are
to release
the
their leaders?
details that Sheyi Makinde feels should be uncovered for the world to see. It is no longer news that he's not particularly on the same political page
with the presidency.
The presidency. You understand? But we should not play politics with the lives of Nigerians. Issue of security is something we should not play politics with. We need to secure the lives of Nigerians. And I think that's where it's...
Talking of the UN,
okay.
I'm thinking the UN is an international
Body, and
organization.
they are not
So
necessarily-
yes,
they are not
my question. Let's
They don't meddle.
conceptualize this first. Does the governor of Oyo State need the approval of the chief executive of the country to invite the UN? Because he went to the press immediately, but we know, of course, that during this time, everyone was happy that finally the federal government is cordial with the Oyo governor.
Yeah.
Now that he is calling, isn't it something that could have been discussed with the government?
Yes.
You know,
Does he-
so that
does he
the
have power to
president
invite the
himself perhaps can do the invitation. Does the state have the power to invite an international
UN.
organization into an issue in a subnational?
Yeah, the relationship between the state and the federal is clear.
Okay.
But of course, he utilized that platform to voice his opinion out.
Okay.
And that is why we are discussing
We're
it.
just voicing.
That's why we are discussing it.
He doesn't have the
That is
power
his
to
own
invite
So,
opinion.
yeah, but he has provoked
public discourse
public discourse
on the matter.
and expecting reactions because of the level of information that he has. With respect to whether a state has the power to invite, oh no. But he could initiate a call like he has
Then who
done.
will not affect it?
Cry for
Yeah,
help.
Because he's calling.
No, we
he's calling
are
for the UN to
signatories
come
to
against-
UN charters.
I agree.
We are signatories to UN charter.
Okay.
We are part of the global community.
Via the federal government. that is
Exactly.
calling the UN to-
Exactly. And and that's why the federal government is saying we are not disagreeing with him. They have also ceded to it that they are not against the UN coming in.
Okay.
And they shouldn't be if there is nothing to hide anywhere. The issue of security is everybody's business. And at the end of the day, what we all desire is a better secured Nigeria. And I think Makinde is a stakeholder. He has been a governor now for this is second tenure as governor of Oyo State.
Oyo State.
You know, so he should know, and he feels that what played out is not something that he had been used to in that environment.
So I feel for him to actually, make this call publicly because he feels there are some, things that actually played out that are not very clear.
Yes.
That are not clear. So
it's about accountability.
Yes, accountability.
It's
and
about our
transparency of
respect for
governance.
life,
You
the worth
understand?
of the human life.
That's right.
You understand? No system should be this opaque
Exactly.
that we are not seeing through what is happening. So give it to Makinde that he made a call at the right
time.
All right. So much on that. We wait to see because the picture people are painting, I'm really getting scared of if there were some nuances that maybe political undertone to this, then we wait to see.
I think
Not
the heat is
necessarily.
too much.
Yes, the heat was too much. Not necessarily
there's a lot
politically
going
or
on
something.
at the same time. I
Yes.
think it's necessary for the federal government to try and calm the Nigerian system at this point.
Yeah.
We're talking of hiking exam fees that was not well thought out. Peter Obi came out to say that that
life
couldn't
was
have
in
even come out in the first place.
At all.
You're trying to
at all.
stabilize the polity. Security questions are everywhere. Everybody. So there is a lot of unquiet in Nigeria. So the federal government needs to calm things down at this time.
To calm us down.
To calm
I
the
need to
polity
be calm
so
down.
that we can have a calm 2027 election.
Yeah.
All right.
Someone once say, if you're in Nigeria or in Nigeria, and they explained the whole happenings of Nigeria to you and you eventually understand it, that means you are not normal.
Okay. So we should stop understanding. For us to be normal.
That's what it is. You have
All
to
right.
stop, yes.
Still talking about 2027, ADC heads to Supreme Court. I guess that's over factions of who is leading ADC and who is not leading ADC.
It's indeed an unsettling development.
Yeah.
We are about 6-7 months to the elections. The presidential election is expected January 16th.
Yeah.
Early in the year.
And governorship, state assembly elections in February. How many months are we?
I mean,
so if by now a political party
is going to
that should be engaging with the people doesn't know its local standing, whether it is on the ballot,
be on the ballot,
then of course we have not shown enough democratic example. You understand? They have been more, ADC has been more in the court. And the ADC to me represents the opposition.
The opposition.
The ADC
the actual opposition.
The actual opposition.
Yeah.
Don't forget that some people say they are holding down PDP. They are factionalized PDP, you know, holding it down for the government in power to try
to leverage on it.
To leverage on it. So if PDP is suffering the fate that is suffering, and the other opposition actors decided to gather in ADC before some of them went to NDC, then of course, and Atiku is there, and he has remained the voice of opposition. And the whole struggle seemed to be, David Mark was a Senate president from his military background to a Senate president.
Governor for military administrator for many years.
For many years.
And a powerful one at that.
Yeah. And these are people who are convinced that democracy should not just be about one party. And they decided that they should come together and give Nigerians the benefit of choice. So that our democratic process can have a balance, as it were. You know, so if now everything is being done to hold them down too, then our democracy will begin to lose its very essence. The very foundation of democracy is about choice for the people, because at the end of the day, power actually resides with the people. But how can the people exercise this power when they, on the ballot, they're having one person? Let's not forget what happened in the local government election, the council elections in Abuja, where hours to the election, supposed candidates of PDP were stepping down for APC. That is also how some phantom factionalized candidates of some parties, prosy parties, phony parties, because if we have phony agencies, there's nothing wrong in this setting that we have some phony parties and candidates that are able to have their names uploaded. And at last minute, they are telling you they have just exactly what our brother Godswill Akpabio did that night. That shocked the man they are remembering 1 year after now, Buhari. Buhari and the wife, they were there and watching. And Akpabio, because his name started with A, was about the first aspirant, as it were, of APC in their convention at Eagle Square to address the world. And the world was glued watching. And the pendulum, people felt the pendulum was swinging towards the vice president to Buhari then, in the person of Professor Osibanjo. That people considered had a saner, more serious way of seeing things, and haven't had the tutelage under Buhari that it may continue and give Nigerians the renewed hope that they actually needed. You know, but what played out? Akpabio came and told, there was horse trading, told Nigerians that he did wonders in Akwa Ibom, and he had actually picked up a form because he wanted to replicate what he did in Akwa Ibom in Abuja. But then he has just realized that somebody did more wonders in Lagos. And is now is ready to, that he has turned boys to men. And so he has the Midas touch of turning boys to men.
Is that not true?
The boy, he turned.
Somebody turned boys to men.
Yeah, Baja Biambala is one of those. He turned a boy. He turned to men.
Yeah.
And we have seen how strong some of those men can be. Fashola was a boy.
Now
he turned him to a man. You know, so that he needed to understand. He recognizes when there are people who turn boys to men.
Yeah.
That he was giving it to Tinubu. That he also has done so much for Lagos and that was how he stepped down. And that was the beginning of the shock. That was the APC convention.
And he also got his change because he became the Senate president.
He became the Senate president. And under his watch, we are seeing the most docile National Assembly. The most docile, most servile National Assembly that had to give a budget line to an agency that is supposedly non-existent. And said there is no petition before them to even look at that. And under his tenure, they have approved the most borrowing channel for the presidency. And so our foreign debt burden is growing by the day. The whole of that drama started that night. That has taken us to where we are today.
But then, let's cast our minds back to 2023 election. Given what happened, there was a tsunami, especially in the local elections, because of a seeming figure at the national level who was on the ballot. So some people were sleeping and they were announced winners in that election. So would you say that the federal government is on edge so that the 2023 scenario does not repeat itself? Is that why we are seeing a lot of unquiet in the camp of the opposition?
Yeah, whether the federal government is on quiet or disquiet, in whichever way, there is the fear. That because a number of the policies and the transformations,
they were not popular.
The reforms have not translated into
better life for Nigerians.
So there is this panic of a palpable panic in the air, that given a level playing ground, given a free and fair election, Nigerians may speak. Nigerians may decide concerning what was my lot when Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was in government.
Yes.
How much could I get a crate of egg for the family? And what is the situation now? So going forward, do we endorse this system for a continuity or do we vote for change? That is the level playing ground and that is the decision. You talked about a tsunami, and Punch once described it as Hurricane Tinubu. For the first time in the history of democracy, we see structures collapsing. We see, government moving en masse from a political party on whose platform they were elected into power, move into another. Without resorting to the people, consulting with the people that you voted me in on the based on the manifestos of this party. But see what is happening. I want to move to this party. And you begin to ask yourself, legitimacy. And is our democracy getting better? Or do we have challenges that need to be fixed? That's the dilemma of our march in democracy.
Now, finally, on this matter, the way we approach our issues in courts, I don't know how much it is easy for the Supreme Court to expedite action on a case brought before it. Do we see this case disposed of before it is too late?
Well, there needs to be judicial expedition of the whole matter so that ADC should know its fate. Because it's not just ADC, it's about democracy, it's about Nigeria.
All right.
There needs to be. But of course, we do know that sometimes our judiciary plays to the gallery, pandering towards issues of technology.
No, we're concerned about expediting action.
Action.
Because what is important?
That is
once
important.
They have ruled.
Yes, it is important.
Yeah.
They should not
linger.
It shouldn't linger.
Okay.
Because democracy is at stake and the principle. So, they say the wheel of justice, it does grind slowly but surely. But in this matter, we expect that it should not grind so slowly because, again, we know that justice delayed is justice denied.
Maybe
Nigerians
are eagerly waiting.
Delayed,
Atiku
maybe
says
justice denied.
he's already in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Because the world is watching.
All right,
How
the
it
world
all
is
plays out.
the world is watching us and our democracy, and we also who are part of the democracy, we are watching too.
Yeah, you belong to the fourth estate
I'm
of the
sure
land.
success is watching.
Eagerly watching for a change.
Absolutely.
If he's
better
watching,
No sleep
Nigeria.
until
I
we are
am
done.
watching.
We'll have a
Thank you,
better
Sleep
Godfrey.
until
Nigeria.
2027 election is over.
All
Yes,
right.
everybody should
Godfrey,
just stay.
thank you for being there.
Stay
Thank you
awake
for
and
the good
active.
Stay
work.
awake.
All you
Thank
do
you
and
so
all you
much
say.
for coming.
Looking forward to when you could serve me with coffee when I come here.
This your coffee matter. All right, I'm taking this matter to the management. But definitely, I can assure you, you're not going to drink the coffee on air because it can disturb your idea.
I think you can do
I need coffee, hot coffee to clear my
You
throat.
can do a speak.
All
Next
right,
time
all
you're
right.
coming, please come with
Exactly.
I am too short of your head.
Exactly.
When you step out, I can assure you there's a cup of coffee
Thank
for
you very much.
All right, viewers, stay with us. We'll continue with Morning Dew when we come back. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
We impose extra burden on the masses. I feel your pain.
Only humility will lead us to unity, and unity will lead us to peace.
Go to the market and sell your products.
Amazon from Harrison. That is a massive world record. Martinelli goes, boys out of his goal. Martinelli. This will be 3 for Arsenal.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Yes, last Thursday we started learning French. I told us that it's expedient that somebody in Nigeria should speak some French. Why? Because Nigeria is one country surrounded by Francophone countries. Niger to the north, Republic of Benin to the west. Still to the north, we have Chad. You have Cameroon there, even though the Anglophone aspect is close to us, but then it's officially a French-speaking country. So pick up some French when you go to, so that when you go to Cotonou markets, you won't have issues pricing things and all that. And that's why we have already in the studio Ms. Francisca Anthony. You're welcome this morning.
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
Merci, bonjour.
C'est bon?
You are speaking the one that you have not taught you.
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
Of course, everybody says bonjour because they learned it in jail.
So Bishop, please don't water down my French. Don't water down my French.
Mademoiselle,
French a bit before
mademoiselle is kind of miss.
Yes.
Madame.
Don't teach them in the studio.
Okay,
they are not part of your students.
Go ahead.
All right. Last time we were, counting the French alphabets in A, B, C, D. Today, what do you have for us, Francisca?
Jolie, I have a wonderful topic. But before then, I have to go back so that my viewers will
revision.
not... Yes.
Yeah.
OK. La fois passée, bonjour à tous et bienvenue sur notre cours de français de deux boutons. Je m'appelle Mademoiselle Anthony Francisca, ou bien Francisca Anthony, c'est mon nom. Et aujourd'hui, j'ai un joli sujet, mais avant que je continue, il faut que je reprenne ce que j'ai pris la fois passée. What am I saying? I'm just trying to say, my name is Miss Anthony Francisca, and welcome to the French for the beginners. And the last time we treated a nice topic, which is l'alphabet français, French alphabet. Let me just reprend. If you miss it, don't worry, you don't miss it. Je suis ici, I'm here. L'alphabet français, we say A, E, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, E, P, Q, R, X, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. One more time. Let me go once again. Yes. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, X, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Voilà. C'est tout. Ce sont les alphabets français. Aujourd'hui, today, I have a very wonderful topic. You know, we cannot do without greetings. And that's the débutant, we say at the beginning of French. Greetings. Les salutations. Les salutations. French. Yes. Les salutations. That's the topic of today, which is French greetings. We have so many of them. But the main ones we're going to bring out right now to say them one after the other. Les salutations. Yes, French greetings. Are we there? Are you ready? Il faut répéter après moi, s'il vous plaît. Repeat after me. Let's go. On y va. Bonjour. 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 Hello. Salut. 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 Hi or bye. Bonsoir. 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 Good evening. Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. Good night. À plus tard. À plus tard. See you later. À bientôt. À bientôt. See you soon. À demain. À demain. See you tomorrow. Bonne journée. Bonne journée. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Au revoir. Au revoir. You know, there we say au revoir, but the spelling is au revoir. Au revoir. Goodbye. Comment ça va? Comment ça va? How are you? Ça va bien? Merci. Ça va bien? Merci. I'm fine, thank you. Bienvenue. Bienvenue. Welcome. We have another one that says Dorian. Dorian. You're welcome. Then let us go back again. On faut répéter un peu une fois. Let's go again. Répétez après moi. Repeat after me if you can. Bonjour. 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 Hello. Salut. Salut. Hi. Or bye. Bonsoir. 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 Good evening. Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. Good night. À plus tard. À plus tard. See you later. À bientôt. À bientôt. See you soon. À demain. À demain. See you tomorrow. Bonne journée. Bonne journée. Have a nice day. Au revoir. Au revoir. Au revoir. Au revoir. Goodbye. Comment ça va? Comment ça va? How are you? Ça va bien, merci. Ça va bien, merci. I'm fine, thank you. Bienvenue. Bienvenue. Welcome. Welcome. Bon, c'est tout. Mais before we continue, people say, how about good afternoon? In French, there's nothing like good afternoon. Yes. You know, Nigerians, we just brought good afternoon. But in French, good afternoon is still bonjour. Because bonjour starts from morning hour to 4 p.m. Bonsoir starts from there. Oui. Bonjour, morning, afternoon. That bonjour in afternoon is like good day. Bonjour, good day. It's really good day because it's not yet 4 p.m. Donc, so we are saying bonjour till 4 p.m. 4 p.m. dot. Bonjour stop. Bonsoir continue. Ça va? Ça y est? Hope it's moving, right? Okay, before we go back, let us say it one after the other. I hope you are getting it. J'espère que vous êtes là, n'est-ce pas? Okay. French greetings. Bonjour. Bonjour. Bon, jour, bonjour. Ça va? Is that it? Yes. Ça va. Bonjour. Hello or good morning. Salut. 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 Hi or bye. Bonsoir. You see how it sounds? Bonsoir. Bonsoir. Oi sound. Oi, bonsoir. Good evening. Bonne nuit. Nuit. Bonne nuit. Good night. À plus tard. The same. À plus tard. See you later. À bientôt. À bientôt. See you soon. À demain. À demain. À demain. See you tomorrow. Bonne journée. Bonne journée. Bonne journée. Bonne journée. Have a nice day. Au revoir. Au revoir. Au revoir. Au revoir. Goodbye. Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Comment ça va? How are you? Ça va bien. Merci. Ça va bien in our purse? Merci. I'm fine. Thank you. Bienvenue. Bienvenue. Welcome. Dorien. You're welcome. Dorien. If someone gives you something, just say Dorien. Don't mention. You're welcome. That is it. But bienvenue, you're welcoming me, like I'm welcoming you to my own house. Bienvenue, monsieur. Bienvenue, madame. Bienvenue, mademoiselle. Ok, c'est tout pour aujourd'hui et la semaine prochaine, non, le jeudi qui vient, je vais continuer. Ou bien, je continuerai. D'accord? Ok, monsieur. Oui.
Oui, c'est bien, c'est bien.
Merci.
C'est bien. Félicitations.
Thank you very much.
I hope you learned something today that in French, bonjour serves for good morning, good afternoon.
I have a question.
Like saying good day.
I have a question.
Yeah, good day, that's it.
Because I've heard people say things like après-midi.
Après-midi.
Yes. So
It is a French, it's an English or Nigerian interpolation.
Yes.
Bon après-midi is actually saying good afternoon, but the Frenchman does not say that. It's the same thing with bon appetit.
Okay.
Bon appetit does not have a translation. There's a lacuna in English. Because the Frenchman, when he meets you eating, he's the one who tells you, enjoy your meal.
Okay.
The Englishman, when he meets you eating, I don't think that's easy to tell you, but we just managed to bring out that.
Then we can still say, come and eat.
Yes. The Englishman will invite you to eat. The person eating will invite you to come and join him to eat. But the Frenchman will tell you, enjoy your meal.
Which is a bon appetit.
Bon appetit. Bon appetit. So what some of those lacunas
but
in
right
language.
now, there's this, French, as we are moving, there's this new
it's evolving.
updates.
That's right.
You can say à table.
Yeah.
That's it.
That is, okay.
Yes.
That's
the bon appetit that was then. Not like we say ça va, comment ça va. No, we don't say that. Okay, we can say comment ça va. And I say ça va bien merci. Now we don't say comment ça va bien merci again. I can say pas mal, not bad.
Not bad.
Or comme ci comme ça.
Those are slangs.
Okay.
For the purpose of study. For the purpose of study, we are doing
it's still a Polish French. Pas mal.
Yeah, pas mal.
Not bad. It's still a clean French.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's the new updated French.
Yeah.
When you say comment ça va, that was what they thought of when they were primary school.
Tedious.
But right now, it's comme
Ça
ci
va.
comme ça, like
Ça va.
this, like that,
Like
not
that,
bad.
yes.
Not bad.
Here and
I'm
there.
not feeling well. Ça va.
Comme ci, comme ça.
But bon après-midi, that's Nigerian.
That's
Okay.
Nigerian
But
interpretation.
that's why I said bonjour still go from morning till evening,
Till
4 p.m.
A table, doesn't it mean on the table?
No, that's in
At
French,
the
we don't translate
Okay.
Yeah, it's not word for
or
word.
word for word.
Okay. By
Now,
by
that atab, who
semantics.
says
Meet me.
Is
It's
it-
like,
is-
meet me.
Okay, join me.
Like,
Join me.
join
Join me.
me.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
a table.
Join me.
Okay.
A tableau.
Yeah.
Well,
A
thank you.
table, mademoiselle.
You are going to pay. You are going to pay for
So,
cleaning
No,
what
we're
you are
already,
doing.
we're already paying with our
Hope you
attention.
guys learned
All right.
one or two things, right?
Yeah, so like a tableau.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
And,
You have taught us to greet in French. And of
Voilà.
course, I hope, viewer, you have learned something from Francisca Anthony this morning.
Applaudissez.
All right.
Yes, sir.
She'll be back on Thursday. Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Thank
And
you,
of course,
sir.
viewer,
Have a
thank you for
beautiful-
being there.
Thank you.
We'll continue
Yes.
with other things when I
Bonne
come back.
journée.
Yes, have a nice day. Merci beaucoup. Bye.
Wake up with us every morning.
We bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Harrison. That is a massive world record. Martinelli goes, boys, out of his goal. Martinelli. This will be 3 for Arsenal.
Yes, welcome back. And of course, we are going straight to a conversation. Sometime in the past, we gave a report in the papers, from the papers, about failed buildings. Once in a while, we witnessed that in our urban centers, where a building that has been existing collapses, or the one that is in building. And of course, Morning Dew had a conversation with a young engineer who bared his mind on what happens, what are the causes, and then, of course, perhaps what should be done to reduce, because, of course, most of the time, the issues of failed buildings are not just due to vagaries of the weather, it is the strength of material use. Well, that's how I will sign on Engineer Emma Mba as he answers questions on the issue of failed buildings. Let's view it. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Two separate building collapses happened a few hours apart. The first in Rivers State, and then another in the Alakija area of Lagos State. Now, these are the questions that Nigerians are asking. Are these isolated tragedies, or do they point to deeper structural and regulatory challenges? What are the vulnerability risks that other states should be aware of? And what can be done eventually to forestall building collapse in Nigeria? I am Ife Areno, and I am here with a building engineer based in Asaba Delta State, who will be giving insights on what he believes should be done to address building collapse or to forestall building collapse in Nigeria. Mr. Imamba joins me now. Hello, Mr. Mba.
Hello.
Happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let's start with your reaction to the reports of these two incidents. The first happened on the 25th of June in Rivers, and then the next morning we woke up to another in Lagos on the 26th of June. How did you react to this development?
First, thank you for having me here. This has actually been a thing of concern in the country. But last year, the regulation of engineering in Nigeria recorded about 8 structural collapse last year.
2025?
Yeah, last year.
Okay.
So this year, we've already had several cases.
With just half of the year?
Yes. With the one you mentioned, the one in Alakija, Lagos State, and that of Rivers State. But that of Rivers State was just pure failure on sticking to initial structural plan and bypassing approvals. I was watching a certain discussion on something like this, a topic like this on a non-channel a few days ago, where an analyst, whom I have so much respect for, he was clearly talking about buildings and saying that a building cannot collapse by an accident, which in forensic structural engineering, buildings can collapse by accident. But I'm a builder, not an analyst. So I think logically, and I quite disagree to some certain points. And the points being that buildings can collapse by accidents. Just like you and I, we are humans. We die by accidents. So, yes, yeah. So what's a building that an accident cannot take it down? So, but there are engineering codes with strict lines that stands between predictable accidents or unpredictable accidents and avoidable structural failures. Accidents like gas explosions, for an example, severe fire outbreak, heavy utility vehicle impact on a structure can cause accidents. So therefore, a structure can go down by an accident. We have 3 major categories that these things fall into. We have the human error or negligence. We have the government systematic regulatory failures. And then we have the environmental and natural forces. These are where mostly the accidents do fall in.
Before we get into the details of what may cause, other cases of building collapse, apart from the one you mentioned, you said it was a structural thing.
Yeah.
The one, precisely the one in River. All right. Now let's look at Nigeria as a country. As a builder, I'm sure that you're quite versed when it comes to Nigeria's soil condition, perhaps the construction practices in the country as well. Would you say that there are other states who face similar vulnerability risk that should beware or take more precaution? And what do you think residents and authorities, regulatory authorities in those areas should begin to do now?
Okay, I don't think it's just a particular state in quote. It's just because of the kind of structure we are giving to those states. You can use kind of an example. You rarely see high structures there because of the way they live their lives. So you rarely hear of such cases. Over here in this side of the country, mostly the south part of the country, I think is more of greed on the part of the clients. Because
when you say clients, those owners of
the owners of yes,
okay.
Our clients, our clients, and sometimes on our own parts. You get as a client, you should not, if you're going to build a house, I don't have a problem if you want to employ the services of an unqualified personnel, as long as you be the one to live in that house. You cannot employ such services, bypass approvals at the detriment of other people's life. You understand? So on the contractor or builders, engineer side of the problem, as a builder, your main job is to set up your team. You don't basically do the work as a builder. You do more of site managing. And your first duty is during the pre-construction stage, during construction stage, and the post-construction stages. When building, you should not bypass approvals or the initial floor plan, structural plan of a building, except it has to undergo 3 rigorous stages and approvals before you can change whatever you want to change. You can have a floor plan for a 2-story building, and at the end of the day, maybe clients will tell you, I have some cash to spare. Can we add extra floor to the building? Meanwhile, the depth of the foundation is for a 2-story building. Definitely, the weight of the load is going to affect the foundation. So, but for me, it's not just the contractor and the client. The government has a role to play in it as well, because you can't put people through schools while in universities. An engineering student will do more theories than practical. You get? I did my service with CCECC here in Delta State, a very reputable construction company in Nigeria. They don't joke with their test. They don't really joke with their test. They have a lab strictly for testing.
What do they test?
The soil test,
Okay.
material test. You can test even rods, the compression and tension strength of a particular rod, both bending it, stretching it, so that you can know the exact load to place on it. Because just like buildings, it has life expectancies. Country will tell you this building is for 100 years. Doesn't mean it can't exceed the duration that they gave you or the time that they gave you. But they are giving you because they know it will meet up to their target. And once it's that time, they will demolish it.
Oh.
Yes, and erect a new one. But here in Nigeria, we see a very old building. The government is aware of it. Why not just bring the structure down and the agencies will go to the clients just give them one or two things, and at the end of the day, they will just forget that same building.
Huh.
At the end of the day, we are holding just the clients accountable. No, you don't really do that, because if the agencies are working, the federal housing agencies, the professional councils of engineering in Nigeria, if they are really working, I don't think we'll have so many cases like this.
So what you're saying is that since states have records of when buildings are constructed because of when approvals are given,
Most
perhaps,
times we don't have.
we don't have data.
Yes. The real data in Nigeria, it's not that we don't have data. We have data, but the actual data we don't have in this country. We don't actually know the total number of houses in Asaba.
Oh, that's serious. And who is supposed to keep this data?
Okay. First, is the government,
Okay.
the housing authorities, the Ministry of Lands and Environment. They are in charge of those areas. And I think most times a client will go through the necessary rules and regulations set out to erect a structure.
It's rigorous. Why do they bypass you? You kept talking about bypassing.
Bypassing because yeah, sometimes it's strenuous.
Okay.
You get sometimes it's actually strenuous because before I will attend to your document, I'm in an office and you bring a document for approval for me, because maybe you're not giving me one or two things. I'll pen your document. I'll now start looking for people around you that I can just, settle, so that I can just do this thing, and I have the money, but I don't want to keep this money so that I'll use it for other things. So we go through the process of trying to cut corners just to do what's in our mind.
Okay, but I thought there's this the housing authorities, and of course I don't know how it works in Asaba, but they go marking construction sites and saying stop work and all of that. When approval hasn't been sought.
Yes.
So doesn't that work?
It works, but in most cases we know because maybe most of the clients or the contractor have not really come to settle them.
Okay, that's why perhaps.
Yes.
Is it settling or proper approval process? Because proper approval process is the person needs to just pay what the system demands and not.
I can go for proper approval process, and it will take time.
Okay.
It will take a very long time because maybe I don't have anyone in the system. I don't know anyone in the system that can actually make, because as you're bringing, another person is bringing, there's a whole lot of documents in the office.
Well, that's why they are paid to work, to approve.
And we do it manually most times.
Oh, so it takes time.
It has to be a digital process.
It's important to address the process of approval so that it's easier on the side of the client and as well for the system to manage. That way we can begin to move towards having proper data.
Yes.
We're still talking about building collapse in Nigeria, concerns, issues, consequences, and implications. We'll be right back.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Now, let's go forward. There's something you said about life expectancy of buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on this life expectancy, at what point will we get to the point where we are more involved or more serious about building safety in the frame of ensuring that old buildings do not keep standing and perhaps posing a threat to the lives of Nigerians?
Building is something that is actually delicate, that you need to pay attention down to every details, both from the plans, the mechanical plans, the electrical plans, the structural plans. Then we have the product information, which in rare cases we don't talk about it in Nigeria. These are where you talk about the project health, safety, and quality control. A 6 inches block from a bag of cement, which is a 50 kg, should at least have a minimum of 2.5 to 3.4 Newton millimeter square. That's its compressive strength. And not because you are building a house, you tend to mold plenty blocks.
Of course, so that it will be.
Look, it doesn't really it doesn't really work like that. If you want to know the actual duration, you have to work with the rules.
Awesome.
Then when it comes to cement grades, we have grade 20, 15, C10.
Okay.
When the C10 is the ratio is 1:3:6, which for you to know these ratios, that means an actual building, you should know the total number of bags, sandcrete, coarse aggregates, and coarse sand that will be used.
So it's possible to tell even from before the building starts.
That's why you have surveyors, you have consultants that do it. But they do add waste.
Okay.
They have percentage for the waste factors that they include. But once you get this quotation, you already know the strength of the structure that you're trying to put in place. But if you don't do similar cases like this, you will see structures like from the foundation already the walls are peeling.
Yeah. Oh, okay, the walls.
The walls are peeling due to improper damp-proof course and damp-proof membranes, thereby not sealing the foundation from moisture. Because the soil itself is very, very delicate. In Africa, Nigeria is like a whole new different level of lesson when it comes to soil texture, conditions, and qualities. I'm very sure if I ask you this question now, you're going to tell me no. Have you ever heard of volcanic eruption in Nigeria?
No.
Okay.
Even earthquake, there's one in Venezuela now, and it killed. At the last count, 2,000 people have died. So it's
but in that incident, you still see structures still standing.
Yes, heavy structures.
Yes,
so large.
Yes, still standing. But Lagos sits directly on the coast of Atlantic Ocean. But you've never heard any case of a tsunami.
Yeah.
Or heavy flood.
Yes.
Coming into the city.
Yes. Presently, we have flash floods.
Yes.
Which happen yearly.
Due to environmental conditions.
Yes.
Like drainages and so on and so forth, stuff like that. But if Nigeria is really blessed like that, I don't think the natural disasters are put into consideration here. It's just the human and the government's negligence when it comes to building structures. Right. You rarely hear of an old building being demolished.
Yeah.
Sometimes the tenants in the building will not even agree. They will not just agree to leave.
That the cheaper, especially in states like Asaba where rents are very expensive. So everybody is going to old buildings to live. So you pay cheaper rent.
Then another thing is that the government is actually has mandated the agencies to take it down. But most agencies, when they come there, they will negotiate with the owner of the structure, and they will go. Or maybe the person has someone in the government, 1 or 2 calls.
So what's the implication of leaving such buildings that have exceeded their life expectancy? What's the implication? Just in case someone watching us now is living in such an old building that does not have to stay standing even now, given that we're talking of building safety.
Yes.
What's the implication of having such buildings still existing?
First things first, you're putting yourself at risk. You shouldn't be in such environment.
In such environment, not even in such buildings.
Not building such environment.
That means that even neighbors should be wary of such old buildings around them.
Yes, because a building can fall both ways. You can't really tell if a structure is collapsing. Most times it doesn't really fall straight down.
It doesn't cave in.
It doesn't, yeah. Sometimes it falls, a particle of it falls sideways. And what if I have a small apartment behind or beside the structure like that? Oh, definitely it's going to affect me.
Oh, yeah.
What if you live in a situation where I have kids playing in the compound?
Yes.
So situations like that really affect other people, not just you. But if the sections of the building codes in Nigeria are actually working, even the client would be very highly held accountable because...
Okay. Now we're talking of the consequences.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think the section 317 of the Criminal Act Constitution of Nigeria states that it's an involuntary manslaughter. Yeah, and the Urban and Regional Planning Code, Section 7.4, states that this building is going to be forfeited. The property is going to be forfeited.
What you mean is the land.
Yes, even the land and the property itself, yes, will be forfeited because due to negligence. It's not when it's actually due to natural disasters or forces, just like the one that happened along the Banham Road where the trees fell, the billboards fell and stuff like that. It's not actually entirely the fault of the people that erected the billboards, especially because it's not just one billboard that fell.
Okay.
You get, okay, are you going to hold the government accountable for planting those trees?
Well,
okay. So these are things you look at. It affects the government because it's we are going to spend more on renovating
exactly
those things.
So now you're talking about the implications of this because most times we're just looking at the people who got injured and the tragedy of losing life.
Yeah.
What about the economic implication of this in our country? We know how Nigeria is today. A lot of people are even there is this issue, this economic challenge facing everyone today. So what are the economic implications on the Nigerian system when buildings collapse?
Okay. It's going to though our insurance policies are not really effective in the country. So majorly some kind of situations like that majorly affects the client.
Okay.
It majorly affects the client. But in some situations whereby it has to affect the government is in a situation whereby, okay, it happened in so area and the road on that area leads to a major market in the States. Definitely is going to affect the business of the day.
Absolutely.
And you know that whenever each building within this urban territory they pay tax. So when a building goes down, you've lost the tax. So it's also affecting you as a government because you've lost part of your revenue. And if the building is a commercial building whereby a marketplace, just like the one in Lagos.
Lagos, yes, businesses.
Is businesses. So if 1 or 2 or 3 people are not doing business, of course, nobody from their own pocket, nobody is remitting money to the government.
Yeah.
So it's affecting you as well. But if you place strict rules and measures to tackle these issues, believe me, the error from the human aspect will reduce.
Yes. Yes. Now let's also talk about the burden on those who are affected. Perhaps for those whose properties were, destroyed, those in Alakija, that's Alakija building that collapsed, who will have to, that's if they are lucky to escape, who will have to start their businesses all over again. So can you also talk to us about these issues? Because sometimes we don't even remember them. And do we have a welfare system to take care of people who go through these kinds of disasters?
We have, but it's not really functional.
Because
it's not really functional because incidents like this in a developed country, you rarely hear of such incidents. But let's assume that it happens. There are measures the government puts in place to cushion the effect. Things like emergencies, health care system, fire service, environmental institutions, and everybody that will come into the space to at least help this situation. But just like in Lagos, that people lost their lives and their businesses. Starting afresh is a really difficult thing. It's really a difficult thing because, especially in Nigeria, nobody is going to give you loan. Nobody is going to, there's this case that happened at Banham Road by the bypass. It was an accident, truth be told. a lady's shop got burnt by the husband. He's now telling on her because nobody will give you loan to start over again. Nobody will compete. Okay, the people in that area refused giving her space to even start again because of maybe the PTSD of what happened to the other people close by and stuff like
She
that.
was not the only one affected.
Yes. So if a building collapse here, believe me, about a certain percentage of people within this area will leave.
Oh.
They will leave because I don't want what happened to that neighbor to happen to me. Because
the market's a place.
Yes, if you watch structures really like this, it happens in a particular location. In a location whereby you have more I don't want to use the low class citizens. I don't want to use them.
Average
People, because they are trying to just cut costs.
Oh, okay.
And live their lives.
Now, are building collapses preventable? Is it possible to prevent them? And what practical steps do you think government agencies, regulatory systems, and even the average citizen, what measures should we take, developers, house owners, to reduce the rate of building collapse in Nigeria?
Okay. You talk. The first question you asked, sorry, was
Is it preventable?
Is it preventable? Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
It is preventable. That is why I said, except in environmental and natural forces, you can't really prevent that. But the government and the human error, come on, you can actually prevent that. 100%. Because if you follow due process and read your plans very well and do what's on the plan that is being approved by you, you get what you're looking for. You don't cut corners while erecting any building. You shouldn't. Okay, there are places you can cut corners. Maybe you are in Ise Lupo, and one mama in her village built her 2-bedroom bungalow. Of course, she's going to cut corners because it's not really a big structure, let's say, that can just fall apart. You get. But when it comes to commercial buildings or buildings that have deep foundations, you should follow due process. And the government need to assign a personnel, a qualified personnel, to follow up from pre-construction stage to the post-construction stage. That's where you see road construction workers. You see the Ministry of Works will send personnel. We'll go and let's see what they are doing.
Okay.
You get. So, is it preventable? Yes, it's preventable.
Okay.
Which other question do you ask?
Yeah, and of course, you told us that government can do a lot.
Yes.
But let's also talk about house owners, because nobody wants the economic burden of losing their house, of losing their land to the government because of building collapse. So what can house owners who are listening to us do differently to protect their buildings? And also, what can those in the neighborhood do for those watching us now and probably have old structures in their vicinity?
Okay. First, if you see a structure that is being marked, of course, the government has marked the property, but sometimes we don't really know the reason of the building being marked. Sometimes it can be that it's obstructing the road, a canal, or whatsoever. So your duty is to make inquiry why this building is being marked.
Where do I inquire?
You have the housing urban planning committees.
Okay.
You have the councils of the current Council of Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria. You have Carbon, you have TOPREC, you have ACON. These are agencies, bodies being set up by the government to tackle all this kind of situation. You, as a person living in the area, your safety is to yourself and that of everybody around you. So if you see situations like this, you make inquiries first. When you make inquiries, you follow due process. And you as a client, it's not because you are building and your initial plan is, oh, I want to build a bungalow. Along the line, maybe you just get one contract like that and there's money everywhere. And you now tell the engineer, please put staircase by this side, let's make it a story building. But the foundation has been already laid. It should not just be you as an engineer, the people you employ, the workmanship you employ, you don't overload a building, because a building has both dead and living loads. The dead loads means the concrete, the blocks, the rods, the windows, doors, because they don't move.
Yes.
They are there. But furnitures are they are living loads because you can actually move your furnitures around. You as a person is a load. If I'm to calculate a building, you calculate the load that will be imposed on such buildings, and you include other factors like human beings to it. You know the amount of people that should live in this structure. Not because I built a structure and I will now start organizing church at the top floor, and thereby people living under, you'll be hearing the house shake and everything like that. So the duty is both the client, both the contractor, both the government, and you and I living here.
All right. So in this sense, we can still say, if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
Stay close to an old building. Make sure that that building still has integrity and that you're safe around there. Because when it comes to building safety in Nigeria, it is not just about engineering failures, or rather building collapse in Nigeria. It's not just about building or engineering failure. It's also about failure of planning, failure of regulation, failure of professionalism, and of course, it's about failure of collective responsibility. That's the sense that I can make from all that we have discussed today. Thank you so much, Mr. Imamba, for coming and for speaking to us about this issue. So what's your advice to residents of Asaba and people of Delta State?
Actually, Asaba is a very nice place. Have you heard of such cases?
No.
Rarely, because there is this regulation in Asaba. You rarely see two-story buildings. If you notice, if you really look at the environment, apart from commercial buildings like hotels, apartments, but once it's a residential building and you are building it because you want to have a structure, you stick to bungalows, a story building.
So there's a reason why building safety is part of the plan behind Asaba.
They have a smart Delta kind of thing working for them, and most of their drainages, they place it on the ground.
Okay.
They channel them underground, because they know, just like Lagos, the flood that is happening in Lagos, it should be happening in Delta. But Delta has a way of channeling its drainages. Sometimes you walk along this Banam Road, you see one big drainage being assembled. They will try to bypass drivers and vehicles using another route and stuff like that, because they don't want the city to get flooded.
Okay.
It's a water area.
All right. So we give kudos to the Delta
State
that in this regard, and for those managing and the environment in Asaba. Thank you so much, Mr. Imamba, for being here today. Thank you very much. And just to quickly chip this in, when buildings collapse, most times we don't see that the contractor is arrested, except if the construction is still on. But for old buildings, perhaps the contractor don't Japan. So
yeah, actually it happens. But as a builder, you actually registered with some bodies like the carbon. You should be registered, so that whenever something like this happens, there are forensic engineering studies for what actually happened to this said building. And in such situations like that, they will know if it's from your own side. Wherever you are, they'll fish you out and bring you. But we don't have... Yes, it should happen. It should happen.
Sure.
We don't have strict rules in the system, so that's just...
Thank you so much once again. Now, building collapse, as we've now seen or we now understand, is not merely an engineering failure. It is also the failure of planning, regulation, professionalism, and social responsibility. When a building collapses, dreams are buried under concrete in cases of fatalities. These are things that are 100% preventable. That's why we must have all hands on deck to prevent building collapse in Nigeria and promote safe environment for us all towards building a greater and sustainable Nigeria. I am Ifi Aronu. Keep watching Dott TV.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
In the heart of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
We impose extra burden on the masses. I feel your pain.
Only humility will lead us to unity. And unity will lead us to peace.
Go to the market and sell your products.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Yes, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. And of course, we are moving from that conversation to another conversation. Everywhere you hear people, economists, analysts, and of course, resource persons say that agriculture is the surest mainstay of every economy. That means what a nation is able to produce in terms of food, in terms of exportable items via farming, they are the things that actually sustain the economy of that country. Today, we have in the studio a man who should know is part of those who should be involved in policy making in agriculture. We're talking about Professor Pius Ike, who is the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture, Dennis Osadebe University, Asaba. You're welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much.
Good
And of
morning,
course,
sir. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Ify and Success, they are still here with me in the studio.
Good to have you, sir.
Sir, we want to look at how we are fared as a nation in terms of agriculture. We're looking at the nation's policy on agriculture, whether it has remained the same, whether it has varied. Now, let's start from somewhere. Do we have a policy on agriculture as a nation?
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers. We have always had policies in agriculture, agricultural policy. We can look back to Nigerian independence, the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. When Abubakar Tafawa Balewa took over the governance of Nigeria in the 60s, they tried to start agricultural research programs. Then back to when General Gowon became the head of state. By 1971, he has established the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria. By 1973, the agricultural policy started over those periods. So Nigeria, to say till date, we have policy on agriculture. I think that is there.
That's like the history of it. Now,
yes.
What has been the trust, especially the first one? What was the trust? You said research.
Okay, yeah, the research. You see, agriculture is, we have policies in research, we have policy in funding agriculture, yes. We have policy in food production, we have policies in livestock. There are different agricultural policies by different administrations in Nigeria over time. And then we've been moving on in that way, all the administrations. When Obasanjo became the then head of state, he established Operation Feed the Nation in 1976. Within those periods, he also established the Nigerian Agricultural Bank, later established the Land Use Act of 1978. And then gradually we went into Shagari's Republic administration, where he established the Green Revolution, which is also an idea of mobilizing the masses for agricultural production. So it has been there from Shagari's era to Ibrahim Babangida's era of different policies, agricultural policies, down to back to Obasanjo again, where he had so many rice initiatives, cassava initiatives.
We understand that the policy has cut across different aspects, such that agriculture will be balanced in terms of the use of land, agro production, livestock, and the rest. Let's take a look at land use in Nigeria. You talked about the Land Use Act precisely. What does it say about the provision for agriculture?
Actually, okay, by 1978, the authority then, that is under the leadership of General Obasanjo, established the Land Use Act. Precisely, that was to make land available for farmers in commercial level. And also, of course, you know that the Land Use Act gave government the power to give certificate of occupancy to governors of states, so that agriculture, the idea was that there should be mapping of lands for specific projects, particularly agricultural sector, so that the access to land will no longer be an encumbrance to agricultural development and food production.
Okay, so now talking about, government policies, what really inspired these policies, like government bringing policies into the agricultural sector? And now, what are the major challenges that are affecting these policies implemented in the agriculture sector?
Okay, basically, you know that all policies are geared towards increased food production, the possibility of Nigerians feeding themselves, the idea that we become a food secure nation. So, if you don't have policies guiding what actually the factor inputs that you use in production, and also the how you handle products like post-harvest losses and all this through research, through financing, agrofinancing, and all this. These are the factors, these are the reasons behind developing agricultural policies.
Okay.
The next is implementing those policies to make sure that the objectives of those policies are achieved.
Okay.
That's a different ballgame because you are asking of what are the challenges.
Yes.
Challenges is actually the implementation process. All policies are good.
Okay.
By design level and the level at which the conceptualization and design, they all have beautiful objectives. But the issue is that the cost of implementation of these policies, a lot of things happen.
Like what are the things?
Well, we know Nigerians cutting corners. Now, for instance, take a look at, think of it that government, even Delta State government, implemented the leave on a farm policy, or let me say project, LOAF. Now, the idea is that it is meant for the rural farmers, for the real farmers, not political farmers.
Okay.
Oh, they are political farmers?
Oh, of course. Politicians hijack some of these things. For instance, you are aware that government brings out money to reach to the farmers and co-borrowers program. So many finance-based policies that were programs that were supposed to touch the lives of farmers. But the issue is that the farmers have to be, you have to profile the farmers.
Profile the farmers to know who are actually the farmers.
The farmers.
Yeah.
So somebody brings 200 names and is working with the names, not the physical people.
Okay.
So when they are working with the names, you provide your own names and provide their own names. At the end, all these are fictitious names.
And there's no farm.
And
There's
not
no
getting
farm.
to the real farmers
the
local,
target beneficiaries are not even aware.
Contact.
They just hear it on the radio. So these are the major challenges in policy implementation.
Okay.
And when that happens, it's like we go back to square one where we are.
But does it mean that the farmers in Nigeria, as it were, in Delta, for these things to be happening, are they not organized? Because I know that in under-organized systems, it's easier
do we have farmers association?
Benefits. Do they have
Sure, we have farmers association.
Yes.
You remember that the people that bring down these things, it trickles down from the government through the ministries down to the farmers. We have organizations that are supposed to reach. However, in the course of all this, a system that is not good, that is corrupt, will always find a way to create leakages. And when there are these leakages, the target farmers, a good number of them are not even educated. Again, their leaders connive with somebody on top to cut corners. And then the real people, we are talking of the farmer, because as it is, there are categories of farmers. The peasant farmers that actually live in the faraway rural areas. How does these things trickle down to them to affect their lives? Then the bourgeois farmers, investors. These ones stay close to even the government and help even in developing, help government in developing some of these policies. Good. Those ones, because they can easily. But what is the percentage of such farmers in Nigeria? We know that over 70% of Nigerians are farmers by way because it is part of their livelihood, their day-to-day activity from where they make their living. Yes.
So bringing us to today now, would you want to say these policies have positive effects to the Nigeria food security?
Of course, we can't do without policies. We cannot. It is the government policies on agriculture. No matter what we are talking about is the implementation process. By bringing in what we call it monitoring and evaluation experts, because it is only when they monitor and evaluate the extent to which the policies
is being
implemented that we now know. So, but by and large, you cannot remove the impact of agricultural policy on the development of agriculture generally in Nigeria and the world elsewhere.
When you talked about monitoring, I remember that we have ministries of agriculture at the federal and the state levels. So by your analysis, it felt like the ministries, are they indicted? Because I know that they are also supposed to protect the peasant farmers even, because they are the ones who relate with these people. We have extension, agricultural extension workers, are they still there? Because I believe that if the government knows these people, they know just how to reach them. So would you say that the ministries are not doing enough for the farmers in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. You have just hit it directly. The extension agents, remember, before now, we had ADPs, Agricultural Development Programs. World Bank sponsored assisted projects. Now, at this stage, what happened? In Delta State, the office is at Ibuzo. Have you ever taken a look to walk up to the place and see what is happening? Who are the extension agents? How equipped are they? How many farmers do they reach? If you take a profile of farmers and say, this project of government has been in the pipeline and it has been going on, how many farmers access extension agents? If we have 1,000 farmers, can we say that up to 30 of them, I didn't say 300, I said, can we say that 30 of them access extension agents? Because a measure of the outcome of any policy is the level at which it permeates and goes down. And they can't just be thrown. People, like if you are talking of smart agriculture, now somebody has to come and bring it down to the farmers.
Explain it simply.
Explain it in such a way that they can understand. Are they there? You know, what are the excuses? So to a great extent, these are the issues. That's why I say implementation of policies remain the major setback. And the implementation problem is not just about corruption alone, which is a core factor. It's a very big factor. Yes. But also these other issues of the extension.
The low-hanging fruits. These are the low-hanging fruits.
All right, let me come from this angle. One of the things that government is taunted of doing or not doing is low budgeting. I remember when you were talking about you talked about funding. Now, how do you, as somebody who has become an expert in agriculture, view our budget on agriculture over the years? Is it sufficient?
Thank you very much. Incidentally, on my inaugural lecture, that was the basis, the core issue I discussed on
your inaugural lecture.
And what is that? The cost of funding vis-a-vis. I did say here that the African Union in Maputo, 2003, agreed that for agriculture to be contributing, to be growing at 6% of per annum, that every government, heads of state and government, should budget 10% of their total annual budget to agricultural sector. And we took an X-ray of from 1960 to date. Nigeria has, on the average, not budgeted more than 2% of its annual budget for agriculture. And this is where the whole policy implementation is tied to. This is where research is tied to. This is where funding is tied to. So you find out that even you, my brother, if you are male, you go into government, the first thing you say that agriculture will be the main focus of my administration. That is lip service.
Lip service.
But talking is cheap.
Talking is cheap. It is not speculative. It has been for starting from the federal government, the state governments, the local governments and institutions even, because I had to, at our level, VC was saying, the former VC, agriculture should be, everybody should go into agriculture. This is a low-hanging fruit. We cannot. I said, sir, basically, you have to invest.
Yeah.
You have to bring resources so that it's not just about talking
about it.
So, to answer your question clearly, agriculture is underfunded more than most other sectors of the economy.
Prof, I want to ask you a pointed question at this point.
Yes.
Why has agriculture, which is one of the, in fact, it's the most basic need of life, food.
Yeah. It's part of our culture.
Yes, why has it been so ignored by the Nigerian government so far?
Good. You see, agriculture, I will approach this from different angles. Because agriculture is kind of a cultural thing. Your father did it, your grandfather did it, and everybody thinks that agriculture can be practiced by everybody. And that is why, if you go to Ministry of Agriculture, if you go to health sector, for instance, a medical doctor will be commissioner for health.
Right.
If you go to legal profession, you cannot be there as the commissioner without being a lawyer.
A lawyer.
Of course.
In agriculture, anybody
can be appointed.
Of course, because they believe it is not just that farming.
But is it so?
Of course, that's what we are saying now, because by the time you are using square pegs in round holes, you are not achieving the real objective, the desires. So to answer your question, why it is neglected is because most governments believe that they can handle agriculture in any way. It's just one of such things to help and keep your boys rolling. They can be there.
Agriculture appears like a sidekick.
Yes,
So
it's all right. We are going to continue this conversation. What we take away for now is that poor funding. Viewer, we'll come back on this conversation. Just stay with us. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Yes, welcome back. We have been in a conversation on government policy on agriculture, especially since we became independent. And of course, we have an expert in the studio who has been not just a practitioner, but an observer of how we have handled agriculture as a segment of our economy. And we want to continue, sir.
Thank you very
Now,
much. Nigeria
is started to have wide arable lands, good vegetation, climate for farming. What are let's start from this simplistic way. What are the crops that are native of Nigeria that if we get it right, we can produce enough and export to the world? The crops.
Okay, Nigeria is, the location of Nigeria determines the type of crops that Nigeria produces. And maybe also that research is fundamental to the nature of crops and the level at which you produce.
Okay.
Oil palm, I did say here that Malaysia came and took the nuts sometime in the 80s, in the 70s. And now, today, they're the highest producer of the same crop as exporter. So, if you talk of arable crops that are in Nigeria, that we have comparative advantage. When we talk of comparative advantage, is the things that we can produce with minimal input.
Okay.
Because if you want to produce crops grown in a climatic zone, like potato, and maybe you want to grow it in Delta here, you may have issues. But if you grow cassava in a Delta, anywhere you put it, it grows. So in that case now, our land, we have the comparative advantage because everything, Nigeria has the labor, Nigeria has the land, the water bodies.
Yeah.
So most of these crops, root crops, cassava, yam, cocoa yam, these are China came and they are exporting yam. Why? Nigeria cannot still feed themselves
with
enough yam. They are exporting maize. Maybe the issue of GMO, we talk about it some other time, you know, because Nigeria has this advantage of producing these crops, cowpea. Now, the issue also is that the way the world is going, I mentioned about organic farming the other time, is no longer the use of chemicals, because if you produce with such chemicals, the international community will reject your product and you will not be able to export. So Nigeria has an array of crops, so many.
Yeah, can you name some more? You have named
We
yam,
have cassava, we have yam, we have cowpea, we have
what are beans?
That is the cowpea I'm talking about.
Cowpea.
You know, yeah. So
I didn't know that as the name.
okay. So we produce all these things depending on the geographical zone where you belong. Even look at what happens down south. You know, we have oil palm. This oil palm, I did say that when we are talking of a barrel of crude oil at $70, $100, $70, then we are now talking of a barrel of palm oil. It will be times how many of that of crude oil? So it is just because crude is already packed somewhere and then it is being extracted. The same way, nature provides us with such opportunity that if we invest very heavily on some of these crops, you know, Nigeria can feed herself 100% on agriculture, because there are so many countries that doesn't even have other mineral resources, but they're using agriculture to survive. So the question is, why can't agriculture be our surviving means in Nigeria?
Can you answer it for us?
Yes, because of this number of issues that we have raised.
Yes.
Government nonchalancy. You know, in the
poor funding.
Of course, associated with poor funding, associated with the fact that everybody is an expert in agriculture. You know, because they will, so far you can go bulldoze your way and talk about you have been a farmer. You become the Minister of Agriculture.
Prof, there's something sometimes we need to look at the man in the mirror, because we can stay here all day and indict the government.
Okay.
But now let's come back to you. In the standard of learning, we're told that marrying the town and the gown is the way forward. I believe that should also be so in agriculture. You've done your inaugural lecture. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's talk about how research findings have impacted developments in agriculture. To what extent?
Thank you very
The
much.
research you have done and that of your colleagues, are you seeing it being implemented?
Thank you very much. We have the All Farmers Association of Nigeria. We have what we call evidence-based research to aid policy formulation. It's not just that you are researching, but the outcome must be evidence-based, that it can affect this. And then you cannot do it just all alone. The government comes in. I say, whatever you find. We have a way outreach where our extension units goes to the community, the immediate community, and inform them and then educate them. There is a limit to what we can do as a small unit, just as you said, the town and gown. In every university that has Faculty of Agriculture, they have that community, within the community, the town and gown. Like we produce even our maize, we produce in my university, but sometimes we serve the university community. It is not, you see, it depends on the size. Our university is just a young university. You know, if you go to places like ABU, like IFE, like all this, you see the relationship between town and gown with respect to Faculty of Agriculture. You see them producing, you see them influencing the agricultural chains, value chain system within
immediate
the
community.
environment,
Yeah.
within their immediate community. Like sometime there was this thing that happened to Cocoyam that virtually almost all of them started dying. It started gradually fading away. And the Nsukka area is known for massive production. It was still the same research unit of the Faculty of Agriculture that was able to introduce what was the major cure of that problem.
Okay.
Sometime when I was a student at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, one professor also developed Nsukka yellow pepper.
Okay.
Oh, that yellow pepper.
Yes,
That we use
that
now.
has the
Oh.
pungency,
Oh, okay.
specific pungency, and then develop that tomato. This is through breathing that you can put on the table for 2 weeks. It still turns red,
Yeah.
and when it's trying to ripe, it turns red everywhere. So because they used the soil of the Nsukka area, which is lightly acidic,
Yes.
to do the breathing, you'll find out that it became the livelihood of all rural communities.
And
because
indigenous too.
indigenous,
Yeah.
that is town
All
and
research
down,
Okay.
So taking in, the research products being distributed to the community in the neighborhood.
Is
And
government factoring in your research findings in policy formulation?
that is another thing.
Okay.
That is the issue. You see, as I told you, we have Nigerian Agricultural Research Council.
Yeah.
Now, the individual universities, most of what we research on end in the shelf of the universities.
Why?
Well, there is a body now. I'm going to Port Harcourt next week.
Okay.
Associations of Deans of Faculties of Agriculture, Deans of Agriculture. It is at this fora, they are uptaking very genuine research outputs, and partnering with government, interfacing with government at that level, so that these things, they contribute, because the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Rural Development, it is not just you coming, a lot of factors come into play, before what you are doing is accepted.
Now, let me come from this angle.
Yeah.
I'm happy you're talking about Association of Deans of Agriculture.
Yes.
Now, to what extent does government partner with you, call you, to answer questions or give them ideas on what steps to take in terms of agriculture?
The ADAN, it is called ADAN, Association of Deans of Faculties of Agriculture.
Yes.
ADAN is an advocacy body to the government.
Okay.
You become a member when you are elected dean of faculty.
Okay.
So I'm attending my meeting for the...
Yeah, we're talking about how much government is partnering with you.
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That it is an advocacy. Okay. The outcome of whatever, because they have the leadership that goes to tell the government, work hand in hand with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture.
Okay.
It is at that point that the output of research and whatever in faculties of agriculture are given to, and that is the advocacy I'm talking about, given to the government, on where they will also look at it, and then the changes are made, both in the curriculum of studies of people who want to study agriculture. These are all part of it. It's not just the whole gamut of food production stems from the training of those who will be agriculturists.
Yes.
Their mindset of people to go into agriculture. As it is, for instance, it is almost as if just the way you view agriculture. You did say that you never knew it was going to be interest.
No.
So
I did say so.
the children coming to the school, everybody wants to study medicine, wants to study law, wants to study engineering, went to the example is in the DOU is nursing because we don't have medicine. So when we have 50 spaces for nursing, we have about 900 people chasing the same 50 spaces. Now the issue is this: who wants to come into agriculture? And we've debated this over and over, and that's why probably if you have a son now who thinks he wants to read study agriculture, you look at him twice. You don't think of any other thing you can do, you know. So that is the beginning.
But then let me ask you: those of you who are teachers of agriculture, do you orientate your students to have the mindset that when I come out, I will become an agriculturist in terms of producing food? Do you orientate them? Because we wonder how many of them who are graduates who are actually into farming.
That is where we are going now. And that is what
we are just going there.
No, we have been advocating the issue of being self-employed.
Okay.
Of course, we several seminars on entrepreneurship and all this, value chain in agriculture. Agriculture now is not only seen as going to the farm to produce. You can be in agricultural sector, the value chain. Remember, I saw somebody as coming in here to say that she produced yogurt.
Okay.
That is value chain development.
Okay.
You see?
The yogurt is produced from a produce
of agriculture.
Okay.
So the challenge we used to see is that because we see agriculture is that tubers of cassava, maize, this, that.
Going to the bush.
How do you transform those things? So we no longer teach our students that they will just be farmers in production only. No.
Yes.
They can start like agribusiness. In one of they normally have the lectures. How can you even patent your own products so that you bring it out? You get a lot of changes that you see in what we consume is product of agricultural students.
Prof, now that we're here, let's push forward a little more, because there's something called agricultural innovation.
Okay.
There's an agency, I'm sure you might know of, the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, in Abuja. They have institutes in some states of the Federation. So now the idea is NASENI was able to invent an irrigation pump for farms. I beg your pardon. Yeah. And when you have such innovations, you can tell that yield will be more. Farmers won't have to stress a lot. Yeah. So to what extent are we also exposing agro students to such entrepreneurship interventions that is about innovation? Because that's where the world is going. Before you know it, they'll be talking of AI in agriculture. So are these things, is it just about leveraging the value chains to be producing? Are we looking at the soft aspects of agriculture that are tech inclined? Are we looking in that direction?
Yeah, thank you very much. Recently, we had a seminar where somebody in the tech field came to address students. And at the same time, we also have, agriculture has diverse background. We have agricultural engineering. There is a relationship now with even software engineering and computer with merging point with agricultural students. So we are encouraging, we are of course advocating that and teaching our students to be innovative in agriculture and use it also to improve on value chain in agricultural production.
All right. Thank you so much, Prof, for coming to our studio.
Thank you.
We'll be having you from time to time because we cannot do without agriculture. There are so many areas we have not touched, and of course the conversation continues.
Yeah, and after this program, we're going to eat. That's the most important thing.
Are you taking him to a restaurant?
What I mean is, that's how important agriculture is, right? So,
all right, success, and if you thank you for being there. Well, viewer, we have been on Morning Dew since the morning, and of course, you following our conversation. We had a conversation on field buildings. We are having a conversation on agriculture. Of course, we see that a lot is being done. Yes, we have not gotten there yet, but at least we are feeding ourselves as a nation. Some other time we have cause to discuss on this. Thank you for joining us this morning. That's how we do it on Morning Dew today. Kudos again to our young people who are in the control room, talking about Nkechi Chukudi, Aaron Ujeifo, Chika Ikechukwu, and of course, Uzochi Okwere. Okere, thank you all for making us look good on air, coming out smart, sounding well. That does it for Morning Dew for today. See you tomorrow. Bye for now. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.